Life of an Italian family can be characterized by loyalty and closeness. Whether they are meeting in the square or at someone's house over a large dinner, family life in Italy is one of the main foundations of their culture. Every day, culture shows that Italians have stronger feelings of loyalty to their family and their country, and in those families there are many different gender roles. According to Alison Thomas, Italian women's traditional role of wife and mother is no longer appealing, and young housewives perceive their situation more as a necessity than as a choice of their own. Working Italian mothers declare themselves more satisfied than housewives and mothers, although they are weighed down by huge amounts of work when one adds the work of being in the house and to work outside. Italian men contribute very little to household and child care. The relations between husband and wife within the family are still very traditional, with the hard separation of gender roles. That Italian men contribute very little to housework and childcare may particularly explain why Italy is experiencing a strong reduction in the number of children per couple among young couples. Italian mothers, unlike those of other Western European and Western countries, do not leave the labor market even temporarily after having a child. The rigidity of the Italian labor market makes it extremely difficult, if not impossible, for mothers with young children to re-enter the job market, even after only a few years out. These mothers are not attractive to employers who prefer men or childless women. Furthermore, part-time jobs are not common, and families have serious difficulties in living on one salary. Therefore, the reproductive strategies of Italian families have changed, drastically reducing the number of children. This is compounded by the limited participation of the husband in childbearing and housework. Typically, a woman waits to get a good job, and after which becomes very complicated to have more than one child without giving up the job. Even children are asked to do very little housework, and gender differences are still present in the expectations of sons and daughters in helping with the housework. Boys are asked and expected to do less housework, have more freedom, and are less controlled by parents than girls. Girls, on the other hand, are expected to help out around the house with things like laundry, cleaning, and cooking. Children are watched over carefully and trained to be loyal and obey their parents. Every culture describes how children are coddled while very young, but are expected to help as they grow older. They are given jobs to perform within the family, especially in rural areas, whereas they are expected to help out with chores and run errands. This is not so popular in busy cities where parents' work does not relate to the home. Respect for the elderly is demanded. For example, children give up their seats and enter the room after adults, and they are at the beck and call of elderly family members. A large part of Italian families' social life involving eating and celebrating with family. They meet in places like bars, pizzerias, and restaurants, and frequently share meals in the home. This love of food conforms to the traditional vision of the Italian family. Italians provide themselves on their quality ingredients over the quantity of food. Italian clothing is also very different between men and women. At the festivals and important holidays like Carnival di Venezia, which is a 2-week celebration in early spring, the women are seen wearing elaborate hats decorated with many different colorful beads, flowers, and different fruits, while the men wear metal buttons, which is a tradition in Italian clothing. Their festivals are held in places with beautiful views and decoration. Italian architecture encourages families to go out into the streets, especially during the spring and summer. In rural communities, the village square is a place for meetings between families. City folks also walk out in the evening. The streets of major towns and cities such as Rome are filled with glamorous Italians shopping, eating, and drinking together. According to Professor Russell L. King, other popular activities Italian families like to indulge in are TV, radio, reading the newspaper, and cinema. They are not so keen to participate in sports or read books. This is different than many American families, being that sports is a big part of our lives as Americans. Italian family culture is different from Americans also because while we are hustle and bustling and usually aren't around to sit together with a family at dinner, Italian families pride themselves on having a relaxing sit-down dinner together. After discussing the different views of all of the Italian family life, we see that it is a large country with an incredibly long and storied history. Their traditions are more unique and interesting than most non-Italians would picture. It is excellent to become more educated about other cultures other than yours, and I hope with this paper you know much more about the Italian family culture.